Yeah, well, if it happens, yeah, bring it on.
Daniel, there was a few times where it looked like Fabio was ready to go, could have been stopped and pulled out. Did you surprise you by just how tough and dribbled and how he himself didn't want to stop, he himself didn't?
Yeah, I think we were both in that sort of weary state. You know, it was just a war. We both gave each other everything we had, and yeah, I had to pull out.
Hey, look, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of not the performance in the way I boxed and stuff. There was a lot of mistakes made, but I'm proud of the heart I showed, the respect I gave the belt. The British belt brings out a lot in people, and there was a lot of massive fights for that belt before me.
That's for sure. So let Daniel go away and enjoy himself. And as I said, there's a rematch clause in the.
Daniel Dubois responds to Fabio Wardley after rematch callout, and the message is loud and clear. He is fully ready to run it back. Dubois shuts down any doubt with a cold, threatening tone, making it clear he is not backing away from a second fight. After their brutal war, he believes he already proved his dominance once, and now he is more confident, sharper, and mentally stronger than ever. Dubois warns that if Wardley wants the rematch, he will get exactly what he is asking for inside the ring again, with no excuses and no mercy.
Yeah, I needed that slap just to wake up, you know, stay in reality, you know, it's just not slip, you know, I got to dig deep. And as a warrior, you have to dig deep because got to go to that dark place and come out on top.
Frank Warren makes it clear that the situation is still wide open, confirming there is a rematch clause in place but no final decision yet on what comes next for Daniel Dubois. He explains that if the rematch is not activated immediately, everything will depend on how the heavyweight division plays out over the next few months, with multiple big fights potentially shaping Dubois' next move and future direction.
Well, there is a rematch clause, so we'll see what happens.
If they decide to pass it for now,
we'll see what pans out in the next few months with all these various heavyweight fights that are happening, and that'll determine what's.
Don Charles explains that while a rematch clause exists, it is still too early to make any firm decisions about Daniel Dubois' next move. He advises patience and recovery after a demanding fight and a recent loss, praising Dubois' ability to respond with a strong performance and suggesting future plans will become clearer with time.
Anthony Joshua had a rematch clause when he fought Daniel. If that's up to them, if they want to exercise it, like I said, it's too premature. Let's go and digest this win. Let Daniel go and have some rest. Remember, that's him coming off the back of a loss, a stoppage loss, and to pull out that sort of performance.
Buddy McGirt describes it as a hard-fought contest where the early knockdown dramatically changed Wardley's approach. He notes how Wardley became too reliant on power punching instead of balanced boxing fundamentals like the jab and defense. Despite that, he respects the intensity and heart shown, believing the fight delivered enough drama to warrant a rematch.
Hell of a fight. I think the worst thing that happened was that knockdown in the first round. After that, Wardley was just looking for that right hand. No jabs, no defense, no left hook. Sorry, meat and chicken. You know what I mean? But it was a hell of a fight. He showed the heart of a champion, and I think there should be a rematch.
David Adeli supports the idea of an immediate rematch, pointing out that the clause is in place and there is clear interest in running it back. He suggests waiting until Wardley fully recovers before making it official, but believes the end of the year could be the right timing to revisit the matchup.
Do you have any interest in seeing that running back?
I want to see it. Run it back. Why not? End of the year, they're going to obviously wait for Wardley's nose to heal up. But yeah, run it back. See what's.
Derek Chisora delivers a harsh assessment, criticizing Wardley's approach as overly reliant on power shots without proper boxing fundamentals. He argues there was no real jab work or structure in his performance, suggesting he looked underprepared. Despite the aggressive tone, his comments reflect frustration at missed basics rather than a lack of toughness or effort.
Fabio was not ready for boxing. He was no jab, nothing, looking for power shots. It's like he didn't train. He was busy commentating. Little bastard. He was supposed to fucking train in the gym. How many jabs did Fabio chuck? Less jabs. He didn't chuck no jabs. He didn't do anything we've seen before.
Duke McKenzie highlights the sheer punishment Fabio Wardley absorbed, praising his courage but raising serious concern about the long-term damage from repeated clean right hands. He describes the fight as physically brutal to watch and suggests the level of punishment was extreme enough to make experienced observers question how much more he can endure.
Fabio Wardley has got a heart as big as a bucket. And some of the punches he took last night, he may not come back from. Because he was taking right hands, he was eating them so flush. It was quite brutal to watch at times. I've actually felt sorry for Fab.
Dominic Ingle delivers a blunt assessment, suggesting Wardley may need to consider stepping away from boxing due to the accumulated damage from his toughest fights. While acknowledging his improvement and ability, he questions whether further technical development is realistic at this stage. He also highlights the gap between fighting elite champions and actually defeating them at world level.
Slight difference, fighting a world champion, a legitimate world champion for a title, and beating a world champion who's already a world champion. And Fabio Wardley hasn't beat a current world champion to be the champion, has he?
Josie Parker's been a champion.
Yeah, but he wasn't the champion, right.
Barry McGuigan strongly advises against Fabio Wardley taking a rematch, warning that the level of punishment he absorbed was too severe and potentially dangerous for his future health. He believes the fight took a heavy toll and suggests that continuing could put Wardley at serious risk, even stating he personally would walk away completely.
But I don't think he should fight. I genuinely don't think he should take that rematch. I think that's too dangerous. I genuinely think he took way too much punishment, and that was so severe. If I were him, I'd never fight again.
Johnny Nelson breaks down Wardley's performance, noting that he started well with good structure, effective jab work, and solid movement for a heavyweight. However, he highlights a critical issue: the lack of a backup plan when his first approach stopped working. From the middle rounds onward, his shape faded and he struggled under sustained pressure.
The first half of the fight, he kept his shape. You know, the jabs were working, dominating head to body, kept slinging that big right hand over the top. Now and again, he's whipping it up the middle. He had good feet for a big guy, good feet. And I thought, you look the part. But then there was no plan B that he could rely on if that didn't work. And you saw from round 6, he lost his shape. The shape had gone because there was no plan B. You know, when he get hit, he was like, he completely turned. And trust me, this boy's got no coward in him.
Fraser Clark praises Daniel Dubois as a warrior, acknowledging that while the fight was not the most technical display of boxing, it delivered raw intensity and excitement for the fans. He notes Dubois' ability to learn and adapt after setbacks, showing growth, toughness, and improvement. Clark believes this experience strengthens Dubois moving forward in his career.
I've called it, I said he's going to come out faster, yeah, but Daniel recovered well. He's learned from his knockdowns before. He's learned a lot, you know what I mean? So, yeah, he's done well for
Dominic Ingle describes the fight as one of the best he has ever witnessed, praising both fighters for their toughness and refusal to quit. He highlights Wardley's resilience even when exhausted, and Dubois' ability to stay composed and stick to his game plan under pressure. He emphasizes the back and forth intensity and endurance shown throughout.
Tell you what, it's one of the best fights I've ever seen. One of the best fights. Fair play to Fabio Wardley. What a hard man he is. He didn't want to quit. His corner didn't pull him out. And Daniel Dubois kept his composure. He kept his composure, stuck to the plan. He started to get a bit tired himself. He realised that Wardley has still got something in the tank. He kept pulling it out of the bag. He looked dead on his feet. But what a fight that was.
David Adeli breaks down the tactical battle, explaining that Dubois gained confidence through consistent jab work that repeatedly disrupted Wardley's attacks. He suggests Wardley did not fall to mental lapses but rather systematic pressure built from accurate, repeated punches. Over time, the jab controlled distance, weakened resistance, and allowed Dubois to gradually take control of exchanges.
I think he fought old demons when he got dropped. But I think he started to think old demons when he started to think his things weren't working. But you know what was giving Daniel confidence? He kept landing a jab. Every time Wardley threw a right hand, Dubois would stick a jab and it would touch his target. That there was giving Dubois hope that okay, then I can stand in front of my target and I can land with a jab. And he knew he was softening up Wardley with a jab as the round.
David Hay is full of admiration for the fight, describing it as one of the most thrilling heavyweight battles he has ever witnessed. He emphasizes the constant back and forth action, the bravery, and the sheer heart shown by both fighters. Hay highlights how every round delivered drama and intensity, making it a spectacle worthy of championship boxing. He believes this is exactly the kind of energy fans expect from heavyweight fights and praises both men for giving absolutely everything, leaving a lasting impression on viewers.
I've never seen a heavyweight fight that captivating, that entertaining, round after round, backwards and forwards. The heart on these guys, the balls, the bravery. That's what you want to pay. That's what you want to. We hope every time we tune in for a heavyweight championship, you're getting that type of energy. They both gave everything they had. I could watch that 10 times.
Derek Chisora gives a raw and concerned reaction, stating that the fight should have been stopped in round 10 due to the level of damage and visible bleeding. He focuses heavily on safety, suggesting that the punishment had reached a dangerous point. While acknowledging the toughness of the fighters, Chisora's tone reflects worry rather than celebration. He implies that the referee could have intervened earlier to prevent unnecessary damage, especially given how physically draining and brutal the later rounds had become.
Listen, the fight was supposed to stop in round 10 because his nose was bleeding so badly.
What's next for them? I'm hearing a rematch clause. If not, who do you want to see him fight?
Nobody wants to see the rematch.
Frank Warren reflects on the fight as a truly phenomenal experience, praising both fighters for delivering a dramatic and emotionally charged heavyweight contest. He highlights the unpredictability, the momentum swings, and the resilience shown when fighters rose from the canvas and continued battling. Warren emphasizes how both men left everything in the ring, describing it as a privilege to witness such a high-level war. His tone focuses on appreciation for the entertainment value, intensity, and spirit displayed throughout the entire fight.
I said it, don't blink, it's going to be the most amazing few rounds. It was much better than that. It was just a phenomenal fight, phenomenal to watch, to witness and see these two guys, what they did, bearing their soul and Daniel getting off the floor and the canvas and coming back how he did. And it swung both ways to fight, and it was just.
Don Charles delivers a strong and confident message, stating that nobody can question Fabio Wardley's heart and determination after such a performance. He completely dismisses any talk of quitting, saying those doubts have now been erased through his actions in the ring. Charles highlights the achievement of becoming a two-time heavyweight champion, emphasizing how significant that milestone is in his career. His tone is proud and uplifting, suggesting that Wardley still has a strong future ahead and more to accomplish. He also hints at unfinished business in the division, making it clear that this is not the end of Wardley's journey but rather another step in a long and competitive heavyweight career.
Nobody could ever question this young man again. Yeah? All that quitting nonsense. Nobody will ever question him again.
Two-time heavyweight champion of the world under you.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
There's more to come. There's more to come. We were in there with a very dangerous fighter in the name of Fabio Wardley. He should be proud of himself.
Buddy McGirt breaks down the fight by pointing to the early knockdown as the key turning point that shaped the entire contest. He explains that after that moment, Wardley became overly focused on landing a single right hand, which limited his overall boxing effectiveness. McGirt criticizes the lack of variation, noting the absence of jabs, defensive movement, and combination punching. Despite this technical critique, he still praises the heart and resilience shown by Wardley, calling it a true display of champion spirit.
Hell of a fight. I think the worst thing that happened was that knockdown in the first round. After that, Wardley was just looking for that right hand. No jabs, no defense, no left hook. Sorry, meat and chicken. You know what I mean? But it was a hell of a fight. He showed the heart of a champion, and I think there should be a rematch.
Derek Chisora gives a very harsh and emotional breakdown of Fabio Wardley's performance, claiming he was not prepared for a high-level boxing fight. He criticizes the lack of basic fundamentals like the jab, saying Wardley relied too heavily on power shots without structure or discipline. Chisora's tone is frustrated, suggesting that the performance did not reflect proper training or tactical execution. He repeatedly emphasizes missed basics and poor ring IQ under pressure. Despite the strong criticism, his comments come from a place of intensity and experience, highlighting how important fundamentals are at elite level and how costly their absence can be in a high-stakes heavyweight fight.
Fabio was not ready for boxing. You no jab, nothing, looking for power shots. It is like he didn't train. He was busy commentating. Little bastard. He was supposed to fucking train in the gym. Dude, how many jabs did Fabio chuck? Less jabs. He didn't chuck no jabs. He didn't do anything with him.
Fraser Clark describes Daniel Dubois as an absolute warrior, acknowledging that the fight may not have been the most technically polished heavyweight contest, but it delivered pure excitement for the fans. He highlights the intensity, blood, and relentless exchanges that made it a dramatic spectacle from start to finish. Clark also notes Dubois' ability to learn and adapt during the fight, especially after being knocked down, showing resilience and improvement under pressure. His tone is positive and respectful, focusing on growth, toughness, and entertainment value. Overall, Clark believes Dubois came through a serious test and gained valuable experience that will strengthen him moving forward in his career.
Called it, I said he's going to come out faster, yeah, but Daniel recovered well. He's learned, you can learn from his like knockdowns before, he's learned a lot, you know what I mean? So, yeah, he's done well, Fabio.
In the end, this rivalry leaves the heavyweight division with massive talking points, from questions over Wardley's technical flaws to Dubois' rising confidence after a brutal win. Some believe Wardley showed enough heart to deserve another chance, while others think the damage and mistakes exposed a deeper problem in his game. Dubois, meanwhile, looks sharper, more composed, and ready for bigger challenges ahead. The rematch talk is heating up, but nothing is confirmed yet. Now it's your turn. Should Wardley run it back or step away for good? Drop your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more boxing breakdowns and reactions.